The stock market year of 2021 is over since, well, a month and a half already, but I didn't have time to make this obligatory video yet on how much I made in the stock market in 2021, so here we go. I will reveal my total returns as well as how my best and worst portfolios perform, so keep watching if this sounds interesting to you. And I'm not making this video to brag, but I hope to inspire you to keep investing. Last year, you, my dear viewer crew, you were positive to how the stock market of 2021 would perform, and this turned out to be the right attitude. Because wow, what a year we had! The S&P 500 index that contains 500 of the largest publicly traded US companies did return over 26%. This might sound like a sensational return if we compare to the average return of 8 to 10% that the stock market returns long term. But since 1926, we've seen 17 even higher performing years. So the average return, of course, takes both positive and negative years into account. So to get the average of 8 to 10% per year, the positive years must produce even higher returns than this. And if we only look at the positive years since 1926, the average is actually over 21%. So a 26% return is not at all a once-in-a-lifetime return. And looking backwards, we only have to go to 2019 to find a higher returning year. Still, maybe it was a bit unexpected that 2021 should be such a good stock market year, if we consider what the state of the world was in and still is, especially depending on where in the world you're at right now. Even if I think we're starting to see the light in the end of the tunnel now. I'm crossing my fingers for it at least. And maybe it's a bit misleading to just look at how the index has performed. I mean, the index gives a collected picture of the whole stock market, but if we're looking at individual stocks, it doesn't mean that they have the same return. Definitely not. And if you're a stock picker and maybe have a portfolio with only a few stocks, then your returns might look completely different. They can be both better and worse, of course, depending on which stocks you're owning. If we look a year back from now, which might be a little bit more interesting right now, the S&P 500 has returned around 15%. So fairly good. At the same time, almost 20% of the included stocks have a negative 1-year track record, and over 40% has underperformed the index. So if you are picking your own stocks and didn't beat the index, it's not that strange. You have the odds against you. And the longer time period we look at, less and less individual stocks will outperform the index. In light of this, it's not that strange either that the average return of the individual investors, including professional fund managers, are almost always lower than the index long term. This is at least partly due to a suboptimal investment strategy compared to the index, since it has been shown that it's very challenging to beat the index long term by picking stocks. And despite a positive year in the stock market, it doesn't really feel like everything is quite okay, or at least as it used to be, does it? Most of you are probably experiencing problems with buying something you might need because of various shortages around the world. It can be everything from trying to buy a computer right now to a PlayStation 5. And even if you can find what you need, many things seem to have increased in price. Currently, there is a semiconductor shortage that compromises the production of electronics, and lockdowns around the world have led to other supply chain problems. Nevertheless, for 2022, the experts are expecting a positive year, with a somewhat smaller return than 2021, but at least a positive year. The most pressing issues that can shake up the stock market in 2022 is what happens to the inflation. Is the higher inflation transitory, or will it stay high for a longer time period? If the interest rates will increase faster than anticipated to avoid the rampant inflation, this will likely affect the stock market negatively. Right now, it's mostly about if something unexpected will happen with the inflation and interest rates that goes against the market expectations. Most are probably expecting that the interest rates will start to increase during the coming years from the historically low levels that we see right now. So right now it's more dependent on that they're not increasing faster or more than what the market expects and have already priced in. And of course, is the pandemic going to end this year, or will there emerge new variants that will shake things up again? Alright, so what did my investment perform in 2021? I've had most of my money invested in different index funds and a smaller part in individual stocks. Around 20 to 25% I believe is in stocks currently, and the rest are in index funds. And before I reveal my numbers, I just want to make clear also that I don't have all my money solely invested in the US stock market, but some are in global indices and European as well. Even so, my year ended at 39.53% return, and I feel pretty good about this. No, actually I feel ecstatic about this. So my worst performing portfolio did, in the context, just return 10.69%, so underperforming the index quite a lot. And honestly, I don't remember why I started this portfolio in the first place or what my thoughts were with it. I think I also have made changes to the portfolio since, and it only contains 2 different funds. And the name doesn't give me any clues either. Well, anyway, this was not a good strategy, or lack thereof, for 2021 at least. My best account. Oh my god, this is where I have a clear strategy, and this is also the account that I made a video about in November, when it just hit 100% return since the start of the year, and that I believe many of you have already seen. This portfolio ended up at 139% for the year. Totally mind-blowing to me. Only thing now is to see if I was just incredibly lucky with this portfolio during the last 3 years, or if this strategy will continue to outperform massively in the future. This year, it has of course gone down along with the rest of the market, so I'm excited to see if the strategy will hold in this market as well. What are your thoughts on 2022? Will we end in red or green? And will it be better than 2021? Share your thoughts with me in the comments, and I'll try to answer as many comments as I can. If you're more curious on my best performing portfolio, then continue watching this video where I go more into the strategy for it. Take care, and I'll see you again next time.